Hello, welcome back. Everybody's doing nicely in this tank today. Glad to see it. Got things fairly nice dialed in. These line of sight brakes that seem to be all this tank needed. You know, it's amazing what this system's running on. It's I've only got a 300 watt heater in each tank like this. There's also one down here, right there. In this tank, it's 2 sponge filters and a UV sterilizer. Like, there's no filtration in there. It's just running UV through like a spiral around the bulb, and to slow it down. And it's a 13 watt bulb, as opposed to the 2 9-watt bulbs I have upstairs. There's just one 13 in here. Now this thing is rated for an 80-gallon tank. This is a 75-gallon tank, so it's processing the volume of water at 260 gallons an hour, and the sump's pumping over 400. Okay, so it kind of gets, I guess, half the job, a little more than half the job done before the water leaves, but it gets back here fairly quickly too. And so we got sponge filters, that, and a Pelican. And then the barrels are doing some bio work, because the barrels are all very porous plastic. So the barrels themselves are big pieces of biomedia. Then on the bottom of them I got some gravel, and in the blue one I got a whole bunch of, like, a large amount of fake plants just floating in there to act as bacteria havens. Soon there's going to be pot scrubbies galore in probably the brown one. And I'll start adding more and more to it. These pieces, I boiled them because I don't want snails, and I hope that what I did was sufficient. There's a chance eggs may be deep inside somewhere on this wooden one. This one's fake, so shouldn't be an issue. It's like porcelain. The tank upstairs has one of these as well. I like these. If I do get plants, I will put them in there. I'm not putting swords in here though, because I don't know. Like I said, I have a hunch that these particular fish have a sword allergy. And either that, or the big piece of wood I have upstairs has a bacteria in it. There's a type of bacteria that can live deep in the wood, inside the wood, and sometimes it causes problems. And they might have an issue with that kind of bacteria. So I'm interested to see what will happen with this wood in the tank. I don't think there'll be any issues. Fish upstairs are all fine. But if I drop one of these guys back upstairs, they'll cloud right up again. That's for sure. I even tried it, and didn't go well. So they do okay down here, so I'm just going to roll with it. Just a fussy strain. Here we have the Oscar tank. It's looking excellent today. Here's Mr. Oscar, for lack of a better name. I just keep calling him that. Probably what I'm going to call him. And look at that water after for a nice 60% water change. Filtration running all night. Both filters are still running. And the UV, that little UV unit, you know, it's only, I think it was I forget now, I have to look it up. I think it was an 8 or 9 watt as well. It's only rated to like 65 gallon, 55. I think it was 55 gallon actually on that one. I bought it for a 30, but it's getting the job done in here really well. And yeah, this tank looks great. Look at that. I like water clarity. It's part of the hobby for me. If the water's cloudy at all, it really does mean something's wrong. It's It's free-floating bacteria, and it will help your cycle. It'll become part of your cycle, but you don't want it in your cycle because it can die off as quickly as it shows up. It can bloom. It just does unpredictable things, and your cycle needs to be predictable. So you do not want cloudy water. So that all the bacteria in your cycle is the stuff that sticks to the walls of your tank and sticks to your core and stays inside your filter. If you've got cloudy water, you've got a bacteria problem. Even if it's green, it's still bacteria. And bacteria is running wild. And then your fish get sick and things go south. And yeah, they're cheap little tools. There's a lot of pressure when you in the community about using these lower cost ones because a lot of these people are sponsored and they're trying to push you into a $500 to $1,000 unit, and because of that people just choose not to use any UV, and it's silly. You can run out and spend $30 and have an advantage that you would otherwise not have. And this is the result you get from it. So, I know I talk about it a lot, but it's a big problem in the hobby. And I don't understand it. I don't care what other kind of filter you like. You use your favorite filter, whether it be a sponge filter or, whatever. But also add a UV. We have the technology. It's not 1820 anymore. It is a benefit, not a detriment, and it's cheap. It's like a couple of bottles of fish food cheap. So, should be aiming to do the best you can for the creatures you imprison in a glass box. And that includes UV. A system that's so cheap you're not afraid to run it 24/7 because the bulbs cost $3. Thanks for watching. Oh, let's go have a look at the other tank. I'm gonna put a music video up for that one, so I'll link it to this. We'll do it that way. Catch you in the next one.